Jeremy, good to see you.
Good to see you guys.
Jack Riewoldt, welcome.
Yeah, welcome boys. How are you? Thanks, Harry. No spirit fingers tonight, just heads down as well.
No. Just a slightly different phase, shall we say, right now.
Yeah, certainly. It's not as grim as that that music that they welcomed me in on, but yeah, look, a challenging 2 weeks. We certainly haven't been playing the footy that we'd want and kind of expected, especially what we've been able to dish up the first 4 months of the season. But yeah. We've been challenged for the first couple of these last 2 weeks, and we had our review process yesterday, got a few things right, clear, and looking forward to our next 3 games, 3 Friday nights leading into finals, and get a real good sharpen up, which would be good.
You can get rattled by these results, or you can sit down as a group and say, right, where do we go wrong? See the solution. Have you found a solution? Would you believe you found a solution to going forward to what happened on the weekend, for example?
Yeah, I think Fly obviously led from the front yesterday, and understand our review with the performance that we did could have been grim, but it wasn't. We chose to kind of show some vision of what we're good at, what works, what we haven't been doing, and get back to that. Because, like I said, it was like we got Geelong on Friday night, which Hawthorn kicked the ball around and takes the pressure out of the game, especially, and that's we're the #1 pressure team in the comp, and they didn't give us the ability to pressure them, so we know we kind of expect that. But
so did you know that was... You don't have to answer these questions, but
yep.
Did Collingwood expect Hawthorn to go kick mark, and take away the chaos?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you didn't handle that well?
We didn't handle it well. We were prepped well throughout the week, and we were just caught sitting on our heels, didn't defend well. And that's a review point that we went on. We showed when we do it well, it's highly effective. But then against anyone, regardless of who you play, you can get chopped up if you don't have the right intent to defend, and we got found out in the weekend.
And clearly you knew that James Siciley's in pretty rock-solid form.
Yep.
Surely the coach didn't go in without a plan for Siciley?
Yeah,
can you take it there?
Yeah, you certainly have strategies around gun players. Like, we've got, obviously, Geelong this week, and they've got Tom Stewart, who's arguably one of the best interceptors in the comp. So you have strategies, and it's just a matter of executing. And unfortunately, I think it's probably been the story of our last the fortnight. We haven't had enough guys play a role, and myself included, and that's probably something that we've been strong in the past.
It's such an interesting time to have losses. So you've lived these years where you've been atop the table. Just in those last few weeks, do you want everything to just have you on that upward trajectory?
I don't think it's a bad idea to have a bit of a sort of re-look at how you're going. Maybe a bit of not a reality check, but actually that sort of little, hang on, we're not going as well as what we are. Like, obviously, Collingwood won a lot of games in a row, but I've sort of lived both sides of it, where early sort of, maybe one of the years that Hawthorn won the premiership, we rolled them from 10th in maybe the second last game and did a real number on it. I think we might have beat them by 10 goals, and then they went, right, it sort of got everyone back, from what I've heard, got everyone back on the line for them, and then they went on to win the premiership. And it's probably the thing that we yearned for in 2018 is maybe we needed to get that little bit of a reality check, because we'd sort of steamrolled most sides through, and Collingwood went close to us late in 2018, and then it was sort of, we won round one, so we run the qualifying final, and then got absolutely pumped in obviously the game against the Pies. So I actually don't mind that, and I think knowing Fly, Craig McRae, he would be looking at this as an absolute gift, because you want to get a bit of a challenge on where you're at, and I don't think we can sleep on how good Hawthorn are actually going. Like, I think they've rolled Brisbane. They might have even rolled Melbourne, I think, early on in the year, and now they've beaten Collingwood. Like, they're a great opposition to have a good look at it. And clearly, I mean, you look at how sides play, and it's always good to play another side that plays similar to the one you played the week before. So, a very short possession side in Hawthorn who like to chip it around and obviously have that damaging intercept defender, and then you come up against a side that's pretty similar with the way they play this week against, obviously, Collingwood and Geelong. So, be a good sider for them.
I should have asked you off the top, did you want to welcome into the forwards brigade after that one quarter a couple of weeks ago?
I'm telling you, well, if Craig McRae's looking for someone to tag Tom Stewart this week, I'd just look over the table here. I think we might have the man in the room to do it for them. So, maybe you started a forward, and you kicked 100-odd goals.
Yeah, I started as a forward, and then went dry pretty quick, so they shoved me down the back half, but I've played about 50 games forward.
A few big bags down at Dodgers Ferry and a couple at the Hobart Footy Club up at the TCA as well, no doubt. So It's good to have, you need these guys. You need guys that can play forward and back. And I mean, that game that you went forward in, it was still like, oh, Collingwood were out of it, but it was Collingwood. And then all of a sudden, how we went forward and jagged a couple of goals, and it's still like the Lee Matthews theory was nearly out the window, where there was more goals required than minutes remaining, and I was sitting there on the couch watching, going, "Geez, this is Collingwood though. You never know when they're going to get on a roll and then bang a couple home. You're never out of it. So it's great to have players like that you can sling forward when you need a goal."
The Nick Daicos injury's been felt right across the football world. What's it been like firsthand at the club?
Oh, I think it's incredibly disappointing for him. I think just because he's arguably been our most consistent contributor throughout the whole year, and just the amount of work that he puts in on his body and to get himself right. He's super fit, match ready, and to see him go down like that. Yeah, it's really challenging to watch him like that because, like I said, he's probably our most professional, second to maybe Scott Pendlebury, and like I said, he's been an important player for us the whole season, and yes, he'll be missed, but thankfully we don't just rely on him, but he's certainly hard to replace.
I've got a few emails from Collingwood supporters saying that was a dirty hit. When you look at that, if we can watch it again, do you think it was a dirty hit? Do you think it was an untoward hit? Do you think it was just a collision in the game?
If that action there, if instead of a broken leg, it was a broken collarbone or
split his head open. Split his head open.
The question would have to be asked, I think. But I think the fact that the Hawthorn player, McGuinness, has sort of run him into it as well, so...
So that's just an unlucky football
I think it's unlucky, but, I mean, I've seen weirder things crop up as charges this year.
When you see it, when you've spoken about it with your teammate, is there any ill feeling, a little bit of we should have done something about it?
Oh, I didn't think, looking at that and slowed down, I can't tell too much of a difference between that and the one with the West Coast ruckman on Redmond. Like, where the last second, he almost comes up to protect
There's
himself.
less contact in the West Coast one.
But obviously he doesn't connect with the eye region, but comes out with an injury. But, I don't read too much into it, but, it's unfortunate for us.
It's an insight into Daicos, though. It takes a fair bit of courage to come at the ball and still mark that when you know someone's coming back. A lot of players see him as a nice player because he's got beautiful skills and he moves so well. Has he got that side of him, that real tough?
He does.
Side of him?
Even in comparison from his first year to second year, he stacked on 7 kilos in the off season. Still come back super fit, and his body's it's hard. He's a physical player, and he's only going to get stronger as the years go on. And he's got 6 weeks out, so there's no doubt he'll be tipping into that physical aspect as well.
What about whether you agree or not agree? There's something mental about not having your best player or best performed player in your team. You're losing Nick Daicos. Has that been dealt with or spoken about mentally? I mean, Fly said after the game, "Hey, we're not wearing black armbands," which no one's died, which is true. But he's your best player. Yep. What's the mental challenge of we might have a campaign without our best player. You might have lost Dustin Martin. What's the mental challenge?
We haven't played the whole year with Tom Lynch. It's been a bit. That's a good example of it.
Yeah, not bad. I like Dusty.
He's pretty good, Lynchy.
Yeah, he's very good. He's very good. He's very good. But understand what I'm saying? Not having the mental approach now of not having your best player.
Well, there's certain players that can do things that others can't, and Nick's probably his decision making is that high end that I don't think there's anyone that can really replace that. But what you can do is replace the role, and that's all we kind of expect someone to come in and do. And thankfully, our list is extremely healthy at the moment. I think we've only got potentially only Nick and maybe 2 others on the injury list, which is great for us. But it's hard to replace. I even look like Melbourne, for instance. They've got Clayton Oliver out for 3 months, and they're playing their greatest footy they have this year. So you can certainly fill voids, and Nick's going to be one of those. But
good example.
There's a responsibility on him too. I always look at this when a good player gets injured and they go and sit on the bench. What's their morale like on the bench? Because you say if you do run off and you see your best player on the bench injured, that's a bit soul sapping. It's sort of oh no. But now he's got to live that journey I suppose he's a young leader of Collingwood and obviously a good player, that he can't mope around and be like, woe is me. He still needs to be really invested into them being good. And that's probably what you did as well when you've been injured.
It was funny you mentioned him because he as soon as he injured himself the next morning, he messaged me about bone healing abilities. So we've had plenty of experience in that forte. So I'll send him my 3 best dot points, and we'll see how quick he can come back.
Was Friday night deflating?
It was really disappointing. Yeah, really disappointing. A whole host of aspects. I mean, obviously, to have the outs that we had, you really want the team to step up and maybe young guys to grab opportunity, and just to put up the first quarter that we put up was really, really disappointing, I think. And we sort of hung around after that, but I mean, 50 points down at quarter time or whatever it was, it was
soul-sapping, to use your word.
Yeah, it was.
It was so soul-sapping.
It was. And there's some challenges for us. Like our own destiny isn't in our own hands now. Like if we'd won, we sort of still would have been able to control it. Now we sort of sit a game and a half outside of the 8, and we still strive to play finals. But more importantly, we strive to get back to the form that we had literally 5 quarters ago when we took it to Melbourne, and then obviously they overran us in that last quarter. So that's the main aim for us at the moment.
And Andrew McCall was sitting here last night, and we asked him, is he having any discussions with players about next year? And he said no, he's out. He's out of them. Has there been discussions with you? Now, you're going to get sick and tired of everyone asking you this question, but, mate, you're a 15, 16-year champ of the Richmond Football Club. It's a big decision you're making, and everyone's invested in caring about what you're doing. Are you losing sleep about not having a decision made, or you making a decision at the moment?
No. Not at all. Not at all.
Have you made a decision?
There's fluid discussions constantly between. It's probably more so me, and Trent's in the same boat as me, and Blair Hartley, the list manager, and one of our football managers as well. And we just constantly chat and make sure we keep each other informed, because there's days where you go, oh no, oh yeah, oh no, oh yeah. But
where are we?
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Changed my mind three times on the way in the car. But it's
so it's more. You
just have to be honest. But also, that's the other thing, is that, like last year, we're probably the last priority if we do want to play on, because it's here's what's left. That's what we pay you, because there's at 30, I'm 34 and Trent's 33. That there's other priorities in the football club, re-signing and making sure that we can get the best out of the club in the next decade rather than the next 10 minutes. So we continue to have conversations.
Do you believe?
There's obviously.
Do you believe you've got another season in you?
I don't know. No,
You've got 3 games left to decide.
Yeah, 3. And that's it. There's a knocker on it. There's 3 games to decide. So
seriously,
either way, there'll be some.
So how you perform in the next 3 games is going to decide whether you go on or not.
No, I don't think so. But it's just how I feel.
So how are you feeling? I would like to see you with Tom Lynch. I'd like to see you with Tom Lynch.
Yes, so
and I think you would like to play with Tom Lynch.
Would have loved to have played
beside you to see how.
You said to me, I get sick of people asking me the questions. You've asked me the same question in a different way 5 times, and I'm sick of it.
Well, you're getting paid. You've got to say something. You've got to say something.
Are we getting paid? You're joking.
But it's I'll say it again, mate. You're the champ, and you've got a decision to make, and people are interested. Now, some people are saying you're done. Some people are saying you're done. Some people are saying you'd like to see him with Tom Lynch. But it's up to you, and you're not.
That's it.
So you're not going to tell us.
It's up to me and the club.
What would your wife say if I asked her?
You'll have to ring her and ask her. You'll have to get a number first. Good luck.
You've got Maddie's match this weekend.
We do. The 8th version of Maddie's match, obviously. It's flown, actually. It really has flown. I remember literally day dot when we were there at Marvel Stadium launching Maddie's the foundation, Maddie's vision, and so people come along. Obviously, jump on and grab a ticket at maddiesmatch.org.au, or there's virtual seats this year. So we've got great support from all around the country. So if you want to jump on and buy a virtual seat, whether you're in Melbourne, whether you're overseas, or whether you're in other parts of Australia, do that as well at the same website.
So is this your last Maddie's match?
This might be your last show. Once his camera's on,